Hi, I'm Jake. I make RPG supplements and videos about Pathfinder 2, or PF2. I love PF2. And they came out with the Draconic Codex! Yeah! I loved the Draconomicon in 3.5. It came out with a bunch new, at the time, races to play, and monsters to use, and a breakdown of how a dragon works biologically, biochemically, and biomagically. A really cool read. Still useful for the anatomy charts and stuff, and the pointing out biology of the dragon. But anyway, Draconic Codex! So, I'm going to go over some of it in general, but right now, today, Dragonet Ancestry. You can be the fairy dragon you always wanted to be. Seriously, like, alright, I guess this sounds old. 20 years ago, my now ex-wife wanted to play a fairy dragon! And I'm like, well, it's a level adjustment plus 8 or 12 or whatever stupid thing it was. So, like, it was really hard to do. But now, you can play a slightly depowered Dragonet fairy dragon. Alright, I'm gonna go through the ancestry. Oh, the Dragonet. Alright, I'm going to read the opening lore because it's fun. And then I'll get to physical description, society, and stats, and then I'll go into the heritages and the feats. So if you want to skip directly to the stats, the ancestry adjustments, go to this time. If instead you want to go directly to the heritages, go to this time. If instead you don't want to go to the heritages either, you just want to go right to the feats, go to this time. And yes, those times are down below as well. Hi, I love you. This is Loot, if you don't know. He had bad teeth, so everybody in the community here chipped in, especially a couple really gifting patrons, to get his tooth surgery, and in the process we found out he was deaf. He is deaf, still. But he's like way more cuddly now, and happier. Anyway, rabbit trail. Dragonets. Dragonets are miniature dragons, which I think cats are, complete with wings, dagger-like teeth, and magical breath. They can be fiercely independent and proud, at times protective or avaricious. That means greedy. And they delight in the finer things in life. Avaricious is both greedy and, like, aggressive with your greediness. As long as there have been dragons, there have been dragonets. Most live lives no more unusual than any of their kin, but some wake one day, perhaps when they have just entered adulthood, perhaps after they've several centuries of a quiet life, to find themselves changed. Keynote, pay attention to that. That's a good role-playing tip. You could be 600 years old and just starting this character. Think about it. The natural gifts they share with dragons, their magical breath, soaring flight, and innate magic are diminished. In return, they find themselves granted other abilities, greater size or intelligence, and enhanced skill with sword or spell, their PCs, in other words. Some dragonets see this change as a gift from the dragon deity Gasham, a way to act in defiance of their original purpose and become as worthy of song and story as any hero or villain. For others, it's a lesson from Apsu, a forced pilgrimage in which they must learn to walk on the ground so they can truly appreciate flying across the sky once more. Still others believe it was a choice they made, consciously or not, that carries the power of Draconic Pact, a choice to be more mortal so they can truly appreciate the near immortality all dragons enjoy. I like that one because you can even say my higher self decreed that this would be the case before this life, in my past life. So I'm doing it. I'm taking control of my own destiny. It's just fun. These dragonets find themselves often becoming adventurers, their skills with alchemy and armor, esoterica, and investigations more than compensating for their weaker natural abilities. Like their larger kin, dragonets vary widely in appearance and personality. Many are social, living easily alongside others, weaving their lives in and around the communities they call home. Of these, some form close bonds with other people, accepting food and gold in return for their services, or even joining spellcasters as a familiar. That's serious, you can actually do that shit with this ancestry, be someone else's familiar! It's fun. Others are scorned for their mischievous pranks or territorial behavior. Some dragonets prefer to remain separate, living in secluded caves on remote coastlines or tree hollows in the deep wilderness, fiercely defending their territory and hordes from outsiders with claw and fang. If you want to play a character that is a fierce dragon in miniature, you should play a dragonet. You might be prideful. You might be a tiny dragon, but you're still a dragon. Like Kobold turned up to 11. You might love to spend a day lazing around and being pampered. You might hoard something, possibly gold, a favorite type of trinket, or friends, or baked goods. That'd be mine. Others probably fear you have a powerful breath that you can unleash at a moment's notice. Others probably expect they'll need to reward you for your help. And that's not a bad thing. Others probably think you're a wizard's familiar, druid's companion, or even a pet, and I would introduce myself to a group as that, just because it's more fun to roleplay. You just sit on the champion's shoulders all the time. Why not? You're the warrior's familiar. And look on your screen, what a great depiction of a dragon witch! It's a witch dragon with a little toad named Jub Jub in his arm! That's great! I just named the toad, I don't know. Physical description, dragonets look like dragons, with scaled bodies, a serpentine neck, wings, claws, tail, and fang-filled jaws. You get a bite attack at base. They might have small horns or spikes running down their spines or in a fringe on their tails. The color of dragonet scales varies, from the muted grays and browns common among homing drakes to the rainbow tones of fey dragonets and the iridescent white and black of pearl dragonets. Pearl dragonets are friggin' weird. They're just a big ball. Their eyes are typically yellow, ranging from light cream to golden amber with vertical slit pupils. You can choose whatever you want for those. Society. Despite significant differences in dragonets' lifestyles depending on where and how they were raised, they frequently share some societal traits. Dragonets tend to be very social with other ancestries and less so among themselves. Odd, but a good reason to be a PC. Perhaps a legacy of their myths of fratricide among the dragon gods. It means killing your brother's siblings. Many dragonets live on their own and only share a lair with other dragonets as part of a family. They're fiercely protective of any young from the time they're in the shell until they reach maturity, usually about a year. I would love to just carry around a piece of my shell with me, like it reminds me of home and it smells like my mom's hair. They don't have hair. It smells like my mom? I don't know. Dragonet society reflects this independent spirit. Each dragonet rules over their small territory, whether that's centered around a tidal cave in the Shackles, an academy library in Corvosa, or a mountain shrine in Tiansha, as its unquestioned master. But like independent city-states banding together, dragonets in a close area operate in an unspoken alliance. Such dragonet confederacies are smaller than other ancestries' nations, occupying a large neighborhood or a small city, a mountain peak, or a stretch of coast. An archdragonet coordinates any unified activities, operating as a first among equals, so I could see them like throwing festivals at their own city. Power passes on in several ways: by choice, when an archdragonet grows bored of the position; schism, when dragonets split a confederacy to follow a new archdragonet; or contest, when two dragonets vie for the position. I have a cat hair on the end of my nose. That's tickly. In the latter case, such contests can be determined by combat, the size of a dragonet's horde, or flock, in the case of pest drakes, or some other method determined by the rivals. There are a bunch of new dragons in this book, and Pathfinder and I are going to be doing a video breaking it all down. Dragonet names vary widely. Those raised primarily among other dragonets typically have names similar to dragons, often with 4 or 5 syllables and possibly an epithet. My favorite dragon name was Trilanator Modu. Just cuz. I don't know. It was a deep dragon. He ran away from his evil mother to be nice to people because it was rebellious. Dragonets born among other ancestries are more likely to accept a name given by those who befriend or look after them, often focusing on a physical characteristic or behavior. Rarely a dragonet has a pet's name given by a beloved child. The dragonet would never accept such a moniker from anyone else, but nonetheless is fiercely protective of it because of its origin. I love that, and I'm thinking of a dragonet named Fluffy. Because, scales. Sample names. Butterwing. Churlet. That one sounds grumpy. Dazzle Breeze. Epondorax. Jumpy. Nandrin. Ogadri. Pearl Eye. Silver Slash. Smooch. Yes, my name is Smooch. I love this. Okay, the last one is Tazisaroth the Bold. Or Tazichiroth the Bold? I don't know. Okay, beliefs, and then we'll go into stats. Beliefs. Dragonets view the world through the lens of their own interests. They might follow the laws of the surrounding area, not out of concern about authority, but for their own benefit. Many adhere to a personal code, but the details might be inscrutable to others, following a logic consistent only to the Dragonet. Dragonets tend to rely on their own talents over putting faith in gods. Those who worship a deity usually follow the customs where they were raised. If they were largely surrounded by other Dragonets in youth, they likely worship a dragon god or pantheon. They might revere Gasham as the father of their kind. So, kind of like most people where they grow up is kind of what they tend to believe until they learn something else from traveling. It's a people. They're a people. Fey Dragonets might worship the eldest, particularly Ragadon and the Lantern King. Eldest are Fey lords and ladies. Homing drakes find themselves drawn to the deities of their home cities as well as gods of travel and communication such as Abadar, Desna, Irori, and Mezlude. House drakes' frequent battles against imps lead them to worship Abadar or deities who oppose Asmodeus. That makes sense to me. Pearl Dragonets favor deities of good fortune and the hearth because they're about luck and unluck, and often gravitate toward Adanye, Caldera, and Kofusachi. Tidepool Dragonets, they're fishy dragons, tend toward deities whose portfolios include water, including Besmara, Embarel, Gozre, and Obari. Popular edicts amass a horde. Duh. Make time for play and relaxation because they're fun-loving, cute dragons. Reward those who offer food and gifts. Again, because they're a dragon, but they also want to reward people to encourage them to do that. Popular anathema. Back down in the face of a bigger foe. Pride. Let a joke or prank become malicious, because again, they're lighthearted. Or tolerate disrespect, because you're a fucking dragon, goddammit, and they better respect you for it. Not that you deserve it, you're just a person. Whatever. Okay, so stats, ancestry adjustments. Rarity, rare. Hit points, 8. Pretty good. That's really good. Size, tiny. Yee. Speed, 20 feet. Attribute boosts dexterity and charisma and free. Attribute flaw, constitution. Dragons historically have had the lowest dexterity, and everything else was high. But fairy dragons, little dragons, pseudo dragons have tended to have high dexterity. So this works. I get it. Languages. Common, draconic, additional languages equal to your intelligence modifier of positive, blah, 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 blah. Languages. Traits. Dragon, because you're a fucking dragon. You're not even a humanoid, you're just a dragon. Big, sharp teeth. It's a great trait. Your mouth bristles with razor-sharp teeth. You gain a Jaws unarmed attack that deals 1d4 piercing damage. Your Jaws are in the brawling group and have the finesse and unarmed traits. I would also personally say that you can eat things that other people can't. Like gemstones, coins, bones, whatever. Dark vision. You can see in darkness and dim light just as well as you can see in bright light, though your vision in darkness is in black and white. GM, I have dark vision. I have dark vision. Wings! They have wings! Keep your pants on, they can't fly yet. Your wings might not be as strong as other dragonets, but can still prevent you from uncontrolled falls. You take no damage from falling, regardless of the distance you fall. I think that's fair, because you still get to have the big dragon wings and feats that make them better, and you start off not having to take catfall. That's kind of what that boils down to. You have schmutz in your eye. I gotta get your schmutz. It's mine. I'm your mommy. You gotta let me get the schmutz. He's like, yeah, you're done. You're done. There's an insert here about tiny PCs and how they work. You pause the screen if you want to read it. Okay. Dragonet heritages. Yes. Dragonets come in a wide variety of appearances associated with unique abilities. Choose one of the following Dragonet heritages at first level. If you're a Dragonet with a versatile heritage, you still select a Dragonet heritage to inform your character's story. I love this line, but you don't gain any of its mechanical effects. However, you count as a member of this heritage for any feats that depend on your Dragonet type, such as Dragonet Breath. You can take the Ascended Dragonet Heritage feat to gain the full mechanical effects of your heritage. I would say this applies to everything that you would take a versatile heritage for instead of a regular heritage of an ancestry. Like for goblins, for anybody. I think that this is a well-constructed ancestry overall, and it shows changes and decisions they've made that also include Starfinder 2 decisions, and what we should assume is the standard. So I think every ancestry should have a 5th level feat that you can take a heritage. And to begin with, you choose a heritage but don't gain any benefits if you take a versatile heritage, but you still count as that heritage for feats. And maybe for appearance. Now the Fey Dragonet. My favorite. You have a brightly colored body with gleaming scales that become more lustrous as you age and iridescent butterfly wings. They're fucking cute. They're fairies. You can change the coloration and pattern of your wings with a single action to let you blend into an area. When your wings match your environment, you gain a +2 circumstance bonus to stealth checks until your surroundings shift in coloration or pattern. You gain the Fey trait and add Fey to your list of known languages. Two great tastes that taste great together. Dragon and fairy. I'm a fairy dragon. Okay. All the other ones now. Homing Drake. You have a short, stubby nose and tiny spines that resemble hairs. You might have vividly colored scales or be dun brown. I live in Phoenix. Everything's dun brown. You can cast the Know the Way cantrip as an arcane innate spell at will, which is really fun. I almost always take that. A cantrip is assigned to a spell rank, blah, blah, blah. In addition, you always know the distance and direction to your home. Yes. You can designate a new location as your home after you spend 1 week there, but you can have only a single designated home at a time. That is very fun, flavorful roleplay. I'm sorry, you had something in your fur. What? I'm grooming my cat. That's what you do. I'm not licking him or something. That would just be weird, and I'd choke. House Drake. You have bright blue and purple scales with silvery teeth and claws. Your jaws count as silver, and you gain a +1 circumstance bonus to damage rolls against fiends. You add Diabolic to your list of known languages. That's fun. Pearl Dragonet. You have pearlescent scales and a round body, with short legs, small wings, and a long tail. They really just look like a giant ball. The shape of your body lets you absorb a blow and roll away. Yeah, there's sort of goblins. You get the bounce away reaction. Frequency once per 10 minutes. Trigger, a melee strike hits you and deals bludgeoning damage. Effect, you gain resistance equal to your level to bludgeoning damage from the triggering strike, then stride up to half your speed. You can fly instead of striding if you have a fly speed. That's just so cool. But resistance to any damage equal to your level at first level is amazing. And bludgeoning is the most common physical damage type. It's a great heritage ability if you're going min-maxing. But if you just want flavor, it's Fey Dragonet all the way. Tide Pool Dragonet is the last one. You have a slender eel-like body with azure scales. Your wings sweep along your body like massive fins, making you well-suited for watery terrain. You gain the amphibious trait and a swim speed of 15 feet. You add Thalassic to your list of known languages. I love that they did this because I often, almost always consider taking Undyne because I want a swim speed. Like, you never know when it might matter. There's a water trap, I can swim. It's like saying, GM, I have dark vision. GM, I have a swim speed. I'm fine. All right, now the ancestry feats. At first level, you gain an ancestry feat, blah, blah, blah. They're ancestry feats. First level, Covet Horde. Has the Dragonet traits. They all have Dragonet trait. You have a dragon's desire for treasure. You gain the Hefty Hauler skill feat. Bear in mind, this is just because you covet a horde. Your willpower just gives you the Hefty Hauler skill feat. Even if you don't meet the prerequisites. You also gain a +2 circumstance bonus to your perception DC against attempts to steal from you and to any saving throw against an effect targeting an item you're holding or carrying. That's cool! Protection against theft. At 11th level, you gain the Incredible Investiture general feat even if you don't meet the prerequisites. Higher level adventurers usually take that. This is just a nice bonus that comes with a first level feat. It's useful for carrying extra shit and for flavor. Next level 1 feat, Dragonet Breath, because you better believe you have a breath weapon. Oh yeah. Fine, you have to spend a feat on it. So what? Everybody's gonna. You want to play a dragon? You want to play a dragon because you get a breath weapon, which you will spend your first level feat on. Almost everybody. You have developed your magical breath. You expel the Dragonet breath associated with your heritage. Dragonet breath gains the traits listed in parentheses, and the DC is your class DC or spell DC, whichever is higher. Yes! After you use Dragonet breath, you can't use it again for 1d4 rounds, like a dragon, because you're a dragon. Alright, Fey Dragonet. Arcane and poison traits. You breathe a 15-foot cone of euphoric gas. Each creature in the area must succeed at a fortitude save or become stupefied 1 for 1 round. This is a much weaker version than the actual Fairy Dragon's ability, or Fey Dragonet. In the Forgotten Realms, Fey Dragons were sometimes hunted for their euphoric gas ability because it can just be used as a drug to get high. So you can make your friends high every 1d4 rounds if you'd like. You are a party animal. Homing Drake has the acid trait. You expel a 30-foot line of caustic spittle that deals 1d4 acid damage with a basic reflex save. At 3rd level and every 2 levels thereafter, the damage increases by 1d4. Good, straight damage ability. It increases. It's only 1d4, but it's because it's acid. It's how acid works. That one is probably the most reliable one, which is good if you don't have any other ideas. I would never take it because I love 2 of the other ones, the Fey Dragonet and the House Drake. House Drake, I will read. Your breath, it has the arcane and mental traits. You breathe out a cloud of silver mist in a 15-foot cone that deals 1d4 mental damage with a basic will save. It counts as silver for the purpose of weaknesses. At 3rd level and every 2 levels thereafter, the damage increases by 1d4. Fuck yeah. You annihilate some fiends and were creatures. That's cool. Alright. Pearl Dragonet. It has the traits Arcane and Curse. You breathe a 15-foot cone of golden mist that alters the luck of creatures caught in it. Yeah, it's a luck cloud. You're a luck dragon. Falcor. That's your name. Each time you use Dragonet Breath, decide if it gives good luck or bad luck. Any creature affected by your Dragonet Breath becomes temporarily immune to it for 1 hour. Makes sense. If your breath gives good luck, each creature in the area gains a +1 status bonus to its next attack roll or skill check before the start of your next turn. It's skill checks too. If your breath gives bad luck, each creature in the area must attempt a will save. A creature that fails its save takes a -1 status penalty to its next attack roll or skill check before the start of your next turn. On a critical failure, the creature must instead roll twice and take the worst result on the check. It's a misfortune effect, obviously. This is amazingly versatile and so rare to get as an ability. This is so cool. Alright, Tide Pool Dragonet has the fire trait. That surprised me at first. You swim around, so naturally you spit fire. You breathe a 15-foot line of superheated gas that deals 1d4 fire damage with a basic reflex save. At 3rd level and every 2 levels thereafter, the damage increases by 1d4. You can use your breath underwater even though it has the fire trait. If you do, it gains the water trait and emerges as a 20-foot cone of boiling water instead of a 15-foot line. That's fun! You use it underwater. I mean, you can also use like a curse breath underwater, but it's cool! It's full of flavor and it's unique. I like that it is so uncommon, special. Each of these feels special. Yes, hello. Next level 1 feat, Dragonet Resistances. You might be a little dragon, but you are still a dragon, which means it's difficult to constrain you. You gain a +2 circumstance bonus to saves against sleep effects and effects that would make you paralyzed. Boring as hell. But if it's a dragon, they had to put it in somewhere. It's there for people that want it. I don't, because it's boring. Mighty Dragonet, next level 1 feat. You've grown especially large and now tower over your fellow dragonets. Instead of tiny, your size is small, towering over other dragonets. Well, it'd be like a golden retriever versus Ghast. It's bigger. It's a lot bigger. Special, though you can grow larger at a higher level than first, you can't retrain out of this feat. Okay. That is useful for a lot of things, but also you can have a tiny creature ride you. Okay. But the most important thing is that you don't need to enter an enemy's space anymore, which tiny creatures need to do. in order to attack. I do want to mention something about tiny PCs that is in this section. The last paragraph, your agile claws let you manipulate items as easily as other ancestries use arms and hands. You can use armor built for humanoids normally with just a few adjustments to your form, but can't wear barding. Fine. It's just adjusting. Next level 1 feat, my claws are daggers. I love that it put it in a way that is totally dramatic, fitting the pride of a Dragonet. My claws are daggers! They're little, man. Your claws are as sharp as your teeth. You gain a claw unarmed attack that deals 1d6 slashing damage. That would actually be sharper than your teeth. Your claws are in the knife group and have the agile, finesse, and unarmed traits. At 5th level, whenever you get a critical hit with your claws or jaws, you get its critical specialization effect. That's fucking fun. I just like that. I like the very wizardy feel of this house drake on the screen too. I love when they come out with new books. Oh, this one's so cool. Oh, it says special with the my claws are bullshit, whatever. My claws are daggers. Special, if your Dragonet heritage is House Drake, your claws count as silver. Makes perfect sense, it just carries through. Same theme. Scales of steel. Scales of steel. First level feat, your scales are hard as armor, ensuring you always have some protection in the dangerous world. When you're unarmored, your scales give you a +1 item bonus to AC with a dexterity cap of +3. The item bonus increases to +2 at 5th level. The item bonus to AC from these scales is cumulative with armor potency runes on your explorer's clothing, the mystic armor spell, or bands of force. Great, they thought of everything. This is a good feat. Just look at that Pearl Dragonet. That is investigator ball. I mean, it's just a big ball. You're so squat. You're the dwarf of dragons. Last level 1 feat, take wing. 1 action, frequency once per round. You have strengthened your wings and can now fly for short distances. You fly. If you don't normally have a fly speed, you gain a fly speed of 15 feet for this movement. If you aren't on solid ground at the end of this movement, you fall, the same as the awakened animal feat for flying. This is the new standard, folks. Think of this when you think of Starfinder 2 creatures that have flight as base. This is very similar. Starfinder 2 is not overbalanced, as far as I can tell. I'm going to be doing more videos on Starfinder 2 Ancestries, because they deserve it and they can be used to great effect to add flavor and fun. Alright, 5th level. Ascended Dragonet Heritage. Prerequisite, you have a versatile heritage. You've awoken the power of your Draconic heritage. You gain all the mechanical benefits of the Dragonet heritage you selected at 1st level, allowing you to take feats and gain any benefits that require specific Dragonet heritage. They should have rewritten that a little bit, but whatever, we get it. You now get the benefits of the base heritage. Which, again, I think every ancestry just now by default has. Because I say so. Because it's convenient and it's fun. Next level 5 feat, inhale, exhale, exclamation point. I kind of love it when feats have a way to pronounce it in the feat. Like exclamation point. Takes 1 action, has the concentrate trait prerequisites Dragonet breath. You take an especially deep breath as a prelude to unleashing your Dragonet breath on your foes. If your next action is to use your Dragonet breath, add 5 feet to the length of the cone or line. If your breath deals damage, you also deal 1 additional die of damage. I love that they included that. Does extra damage. Awesome. So if you want to play a dragon and get the full fantasy, this is it. You get extra strong, powerful breath weapon. It's good stuff. Alright, next. I love this next feat. Level 5. Jealous Grip. It's a reaction. Trigger. A creature in your reach that you're aware of attempts to disarm you or damage or steal an item in your possession. You jealously hold it tight to you. You are protective of your hoard, and woe betide anyone who tries to take what's yours. Make a melee strike against the triggering creature. If your attack is a critical hit and the triggering action was a manipulate action, you disrupt that action. This strike doesn't count toward your multiple attack penalty, and your multiple attack penalty doesn't apply to this strike. Obviously, it's just best for melee warriors of some type. But it's also full of flavor and really fun. Alright, last level 5 feat. Zip Zoom! It has the prerequisites Take Wing. You can fly longer distances before you need to land. The fly speed you gain from Take Wing increases at 25 feet, just like the Awakened Animal Ancestry. Level 9 feats. I mean, obviously that one's great. I don't need to say anything about it. It's better flying. 9th level, Bond Companion. Oh, this is so cool. You form a close bond with a companion similar to that of a master and familiar that lets you gift them with a touch of your inherent magic. You can spend time with another player character during your daily preparations to make them your designated companion for that day. That player must have a focus point pool. You gain the Fortify Focus activity. Fortify Focus, 2 actions, concentrate trait. Requirements, you are touching your designated companion and their focus pool isn't full. Effect, your companion regains 1 focus point. You don't lose anything. You just give them a focus point. Can you picture like taking a moment out of a fight to give your healer more focus points to heal you? Oh, I love this. Next, level 9 feat, Ferocious Will. Reaction, frequency once per hour. Trigger, you succeeded a saving throw against a magical mental effect. You send a blast of magical feedback at the effect's source, dealing 5d6 mental damage with a basic will save against your class DC or spell DC, whichever is higher. If the target critically fails, it's also slowed 1 for 1 round. At 11th level and every 2 levels thereafter, the damage increases by 1d6. This is freaking awesome. To me, this is better than any of those feats that give you a bonus or increase your rank of success against an emotion or a mental effect. Because it fucking punishes the enemy. And it tells them they shouldn't do that again. It's great. They're not going to be like, oh, well, you can't use that again for an hour. It's just fun. So if you want that flavor of having a strong mind, that's it. And you're also like swearing at them at the same time. Last level 9 feat, Into the Sky. Prerequisites, Zip Zoom. You fly as naturally as any Dragonet. You have a fly speed of 25 feet at all times. Yes, just like the Awakened Animal Ancestry. All right, I have a cat hair in my mouth and I can't get it. Down the hatch. Level 13 feats. This one reminds me of the Tanuki. I love this flavor. Level 13 feat, form a flock. 3 actions. It has the aura trait. Frequency once per day. You call nearby wild dragonets to swarm to your side. That's why it reminds me of the Tanuki. The flock grants you 25 temporary hit points that last up to 1 minute. The flock disperses and the effect ends when the temporary hit points are gone. The minute elapses or you dismiss form a flock. There's an action it takes an action. As long as you're surrounded by your flock, you gain weakness 5 to area and splash damage and have a flock aura and a 10-foot emanation. Enemies in this aura are dazzled. It doesn't say there's a save. They're just dazzled. When you use form a flock and while it lasts, you can take the Acrid Barrage action. Sounds like you should be in some Street Fighter game. Acrid Barrage! 2 actions. Frequency once per round. Effect, each enemy in your aura takes 5d6 acid damage and 2d6 persistent acid damage with basic reflex save against your class DC or spell DC, whichever is higher. The initial damage increases to 6d6 at 15th level and 7d6 at 18th level. This is amazing. You can do this every round. Yeah, it's 2 actions, but you can just keep doing it for the full minute. Fucking amazing. You can only form a flock once a day, but you can keep doing Acrid Barrage every round. You really need haste on you before you do this. All right, last level 13 feat, Luring Chomp. It takes 1 action. It has the mental and visual traits. Through your wiles, charm, or a little bit of magic, you lure in a foe for a closer look and a quick bite. Choose a creature within 30 feet. It must attempt a will save against your class DC or spell DC, whichever is higher. If the target fails its save, you pull it up to 30 feet. If the target ends this movement in reach of your jaws, you can attempt a jaw strike against it. Regardless of the result of its save, the target is temporarily immune for 24 hours. I mean, say it with me. Get over here! This is an amazing ability, and I've only ever seen it in a class before. Fucking fun. All right, that's cool. I like that a lot. 17th level feats. Dazzling Dragonet Disappearance. Reaction, frequency once per day. Trigger, an adjacent enemy hits you with an attack. A brilliant sheen on your scales flashes when you're hit, then you're nowhere to be found. The triggering enemy becomes dazzled for 1 round, and you become affected by a 4th rank invisibility spell. Fourth rank, not 2nd. That means it's short, but you can keep hitting people. God, that is freaking flavorful. Good job, Paizo. You writers that did the Dragonet, well done. Well done. Last feat, level 17, Dragonet Immunities. Prerequisites, Dragonet Resistances. You will not fall asleep unless you choose to allow it, nor will you sit still. Your resistances to sleep and paralysis increase, letting you completely ignore such effects as befits a dragon. You gain immunities to sleep effects and effects that would make you paralyzed. Perfect. Every dragon should be able to take that. Yeah, it's a long wait, but it's immunity. It's really cool. And look at the Tidepool Dragonet. They just look like a merfolk to me. Yeah, it's an eel. Okay. That is all for the Draconic Codex today. Dragonet. Fucking welcome in this system. Thank you, Paizo, for making this. And thank you all for watching this. This is a cool book, has some awesome shit in it, and some stuff I'll never use. But the new dragons are cool, and there's a ton of new dragon bloodline sorcerer options. So many! And there's archetypes, there's a couple more ancestries, of revisions, really, but that was a brand new one. I had to share it with you guys. So thank you for being here. And remember that if you want to go into the drawing to win something from Digital for a ball every month, then go to Patreon and pledge $5 a month or more, and you can win stuff like this cookie jar, or extra dice, or a dice rolling tray, lots of stuff. If you want to check on other ancestries, you can click this link here. If you want to catch up on the collabs I've done with Pathfinder, there's 2 now, vampires and cults in Golarion. Very interesting stuff. We're going to be doing a Draconic Codex breakdown of the dragons, the new dragons, as well. And so that will be in that playlist as soon as it's done. Thank you for being here. See you in the next one.